Oh, I am muted. Well, I am no longer muted. Probably accidentally touched it or whatever. Oh, well, whatever. I was just saying that, like, I kind of found out why my, like, chest, especially around here, has been hurting. It's because, like, the membrane or whatever, like, the lining in between, like, the ribs and the lungs and shit are a little, like, inflamed and rubbing against each other and shit. And it's like pleurisy or pleurophy or whatever. I forgot exactly how you pronounce it. Something like that. But basically, the only way to really deal with it is just rest and take like a pain med or something, or like get some anti-inflammatory meds from the doctor or whatever the fuck. It's just like, oh, so pretty much nothing. Great. I mean, it's not like nothing, but it's more or less just to treat it and just rest. And it's like, man, I probably wish I knew that a little sooner, because I mean, goddamn, dude. I could just been just chilling and resting, the entire time instead of being at work and making it worse. My lungs are burning too, but that's from THC vape. Well, it's not even like both. It's just literally right here. That's it. So I know it's like, an inflammatory kind of thing going on. And I know it was from when I got a cold, from about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Like, because all those symptoms are pretty much gone. It's just this now, but that's because, like, some of those nights when I was just, like, getting, I feel like a phlegm out and shit in the middle of the night or whatever, and it's tickling my throat, I would just, like, go, really coughing it out. So I think, that's what kind of caused a little bit of that, so... I mean, it's one of those things where it'll go away on its own eventually, but it really is a bitch. Because when I'm at work and, and you're exerting yourself, you want to kind of like, maybe do like a little breath or whatever. You can't really do that right. Well, at least I can't right now considering the situation, because it's like, because if I go, then that's when it really like gets annoying and hurts. It's honestly kind of annoying is that, like, just being here and just chilling, it just kind of feels like this weird tingly, like, soreness, but also ticklishly. Like, it's almost ticklish. It's fucking weird. But as soon as I'm just like, like go like full on, like, trying to take a big gulp or whatever, that's when it's just like, ah. Or if I'm like, trying to stretch or something. And you know me, I like stretches, and I haven't been able to really do a lot right here because fuck. Ow. See, it hurts. Oh, shit, that felt good. But, oof. It's just mostly here, because that's where it's hitting. It's just like, got bullshit right here. Needs to go away. Needs to go. Which I can tell it's better, honestly, all in all, because yesterday was pretty harsh, a little bit. And I was like singing karaoke too, and honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, that was fucked a little bit for personally, because like I'm out there doing my thing, but at the same time I'm just like, it hurts to sing a little and it hurts to breathe while I'm trying to like get my like some air for the voice and shit. I'm glad that Jess knows how to make them drinks a little extra heavy, because I needed it that night. Well, that's for sure. I was actually excited that Treasure Chest Party Quest was also a karaoke song too, because I've been wanting that for the longest time, and I guess one of the channels that does the karaoke's a lot that I will use sometimes, like it had it for a couple years now, but because of copyright bullshit, I guess got released or whatever. Now it's available as a karaoke song, so I premiered that last night. Not many people in there, so it didn't get much reactions, but Portland Shit Lips have reached a new LMC. Why am I not surprised? Oh, dude, they have Treasure Chest Party Quest as a karaoke on YouTube. And finally, I actually got a chance to premiere it and do it yesterday. It should be on the stream, so I'll just have to make it public again. Simple for Sam Adams, the dude literally groomed a 17-year-old when he was 40. I'm sure that's not going to backfire at all, especially from Republicans. Oh, you know they're gonna fucking whip that up so fucking hard, and you know why. They're grown with the kids. Can't let these libs groom them kids now. See, they even are pushing one out there. Trying to get one elected. You want that, man? You want this party to represent that? Because you know you're fucking going to. It's because they don't like some politician who's even on the ballot. Not even on the ballot. They're not sending the best, folks. They're not sending the best. They're not sending the best. Literally because there's some dumb fuck politicians not even on the goddamn ballot. They're butthurt about that, so they're like, fuck it, Sam Adams. Let's like shoot ourselves in the foot. Dude, why are like just libs like why is that like pretty much the only thing they can master? It's like shooting themselves in the fucking foot with a shotgun. I mean, seriously, it seems like every time they are like, hey, let's do shit, it literally just backfires in some way, shape, or form. I mean, bruh. It's the Republicans' job to simp for groomers. Well, you would think, but, you know, like, I guess shit libs around here don't realize the fucking shit about that. Because, you know, they're just going to fucking, you know, just deflect from that, the Republicans meaning, and just say, oh, well, see, they're grooming kids. They're literally putting one up there, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know they're going to do it. They'd be demanding he drop out. Oh, abso-fucking-lutely, you know he would. But because he's a Democrat, he got towed the party line and shit, and plus he's one that has a name around here, so you toe the line with the one who has got the name. You know, and he's got the name, so who gives a fuck if, you know, he's done that. That was his past. He's changed now. You know, you're going to say some stupid bullshit. They usually do. They always have fucking excuses as to why they got to support some shit bastard like that. His opponent is also a Democrat and hasn't had any scandals. And you would think they'd, you know, support that just because, hey, you know, like, no scandals, you know, you can easily just kind of quietly, you know, let the person go in there and whatever, and, you know, potentially at least have a quiet administration, basically, you know, at least outside of whatever actions they take during their administration. Who couldn't even last working for Wheeler? Yeah, he's incompetent. Coming from an incompetent, you know, mayoral administration for fucking Portland, because Ted Wheeler is just as incompetent and fucking stupid. And, you know, legit could drop the ball to fucking Gonzalez, too. So, yay, that's great. Like, what's with, like, some of these Democrats that just want to, like, either get people that got, like, some weird scandals just genuinely are shit, or, like, honestly borderline conservative. I mean, seriously, like, or just being incompetent and not knowing what the fuck they're doing and not having any basic sense of just political strategy. I mean, seriously. I mean, what is with them? Like, seriously, like, not just on the national level, but even on these local levels. A lot of Dems are hella conservative. Well, I know. Look at the fucking party right now. Like, the fucking DNC kind of looked like a late 90s era RNC convention with all the cops and fucking military dudes they had, you know, strung up all over there. Looking at their boots. I mean, so, yeah, they really have shifted right on a lot of different things. Raven Crimes is when their guy's doing it. Yeah. I mean, they basically have kind of realized that the voter base doesn't care as much, you know, if, you know, their guy has a scandal, so they're just doing it too. They don't give a shit. I mean, it just, you know, shows why that, like, both parties aren't really that fucking serious. I mean, they really aren't, honestly. Well, I mean, Republicans kind of are, you know, because they're just very, you know, loyal-minded with shit like that. But, I mean, the Dems are just doing it out of sheer competency. And just because, well, you know, they're our guys, so What you want? You just want Republicans just constantly? It's like, no, I want Dems to actually, be Dems and not fucking be incompetent dumb shits that like fumble the ball every fucking time you get a hold of it. And I don't know, maybe dropping a lot of these like Clintonite style fucking Dem campaigners and staffers and shit that are like talking in their ears, telling them like what is the best course of action when it pretty much it might as well be the opposite. Also hate the left more than they hate Republicans. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they're far more willing to have basically like polite fascism, and instead of like overt, or at least some basic levels of like leftism and shit, just because, hey, those lefties are just way too damn radical. I mean, I guess social justice is an important thing, but I mean, can you like really kind of stop talking about the trans people? I mean, come on, shut the fuck up. No one really cares. We get it. There ain't no grooming or nothing, but I don't. Y'all don't really need your rights now. Come on, shut up. Oh yeah, I know immigration's a thing. Yeah, I know your family, come here from another country and shit. But if there's some questionabilities on whether they got here legally or not, then fuck them. We're gonna deport them. Hey, your citizens. That's all hunky-dory. It's all right. We might be splitting your family apart, but whatever. At least you partake in the country, Coquille. It's blue MAGA, dude. It's fucking absurd. They're good at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I know. That's what honestly gets me jaded about the Dems. It's like every time they have an opportunity to actually like go pretty significantly left on a lot of different things, like they just go the opposite. And pretty much like, because right now there shouldn't be a fucking excuse as to why this election could legit be a coin toss right now. Like, I mean, and also hypothetically, there's a chance for an electoral fucking tie. There is like, it's a very, 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 very slim chance, but there is unironically a possibility where it could be 249 or whatever, or 259, I think, or some shit. It's like, that would be a tie. And it's like, what do you do with that? I don't think it's ever happened before. Because if there's like the random oddball chance that fucking happens, there's a chance for a tie every election. Well, sure, but not like this. Like, it's actually being legit talked about as like a possibility. Slim, but one that actually genuinely can be a possibility now. And if that's the case, then it's a shit show because the rules are as dumb as you think they are. Oh my God, I want to know because it's kind of important, but at the same time, I don't want to because, yeah, it is a shit show. Because, like, what do you do? Just, like, Congress would decide in a super back-ass way. Congress gets to decide? How in the fuck do they do that? Like, do they just vote on it? Like, every congressperson either votes for one or the other, but not with a normal vote? What is that supposed to mean? Not a normal vote. So, this just sounds whack as fuck. We saw a highly refined AI to decide key issues based on the vast archive of American law. Yeah, honestly, I think that would be better than what we got going on right now. The Senate would elect the vice president with a simple majority. Zukov, shut up! Zooks! So Congress decides on president and the Senate decides on the vice president. So let's say that the House goes to the Democrats or some shit, or I guess it technically is theirs right now, right? So that would mean it would be a Harris presidency, but potentially a fucking J.D. Vance vice president. Bruh. That's a mind fuck. I suppose as soon as Kamala's inaugurated, she could kick J.D. Vance out and just immediately put Waltz back in there, but the fact that technically on a legal level that can unironically be a thing is so fucking weird to me. If Trump wins, their 25th in ASAP. The thing is, is Vance actually that competent? I suppose. I mean, he's a senator. He's not like a governor or nothing, so we don't really know exactly how he would legislate, right? If he was a governor, would we have an idea? Is he actually competent when it comes to a position like that? Or is he just one of these loudmouth, fucking yes men that just follows the Republican fascist, Trump line or whatever? Is it not insane person of Trump that they want? But he's known as a couch fucker and shit. Dude, I see memes of that around here. Dude, the people kind of meme on him being a couch fucker. Even if there's no truth to it or anything, it's been sealed. It's there now. When I was at the bar the other night, I saw, someone wrote in chalk, JD Vance is a couch fucker. And I'm just like, here, let me write and dolphin fucker too, right next to it. Because there's also a meme about that that's lesser known. But I yearn to make sure people know about that because, it's that came out literally at the exact same time that shit did. Because, here's why. I'll remind as to why this is the case. He literally looked up dolphin women on Twitter, mind you, to specifically look up weird NSFW posts of dolphins trying to fuck women or some shit. You know what I mean? The early 2008 days where you have some flip phone camera of a woman in Florida and there's a dolphin on the dock and tries to mount her or whatever, and they all drunkenly laugh oh, this is funny. To him, he's like, because he tweeted it and screenshotted it, mind you, and said this is the fall of the internet, this or some shit or whatever. It's this is the reason why the internet has fallen or something like that. But here's why people speculate that he actually searched this, because the highlighted phrases in the post that he screenshotted was dolphin and woman, and the reason why those would be highlighted if you're specifically searching for that. So that basically means two things. One, he purposely tried to look that up just to find something weird and shocking that could be at least safe as a politician to push out there or whatever, to be this is the fall of man or whatever the fuck, or he was trying to look into some of that shit, you know what I'm saying? I think he might be I think he likes a little seafaring, kindred spirit a little bit, on top of the couch. He likes his lovers, with a little slit, that he can kind of, have in between. Whether it's, the slit of, two cushions, on a couch or an dolphin, I guess, because motherfucker is weird, bro. He just is. So, it's you think it's fucking weird, then fucking blame Vance for it, bro. He's the one fucking, putting out there in the zeitgeist for people to think about. Because at least I got a valid excuse as to why I'm mentioning it even, with dolphin and, fucking and shit, in the same phrase and topic. I got an excuse just because of JD Vance's weird freak ass. And plus, just it was a meme in the neighborhood. I swear, every fucking liberal mom around here with chalk, for the kids and shit, all of it, had it out on the sidewalks or whatever. I swear, half of the block was filled with this crazy cat lady sports Harris, lol, or whatever, with some silly doodle on the chalk, on the sidewalk or whatever. It's that was a big fucking thing. It's no one likes him. I don't even see. There's no real way, for him to really, I think, have any genuine success when it comes to being a politician in this case. In a tie, the only option is to still be Trump or Harris, so the House wouldn't have a cop-out. I figured that. I figured, they couldn't just vote whoever they wanted, because then it would literally be a long, convoluted, chaotic process. They probably, made it so it has to be people who are running in the election, or at least got electoral votes, when it came to the tie. So that makes sense. Thought they could have new candidates. Honestly, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad they don't. But at the same time, it sucks because you'd still be stuck with different options. But you know that, like, I think as it stands right now, it'd basically be Harris and then Vance. Has to be people who get electoral votes. Yeah. You know, there would probably be one weird oddball that's like, you know what? I'm going to contest and say that I'm putting my vote for RFK. Fuck you. But he's not even running anymore. I don't give a shit. You know, honestly, it was kind of funny. Like, I don't know why, but I got recommended a video for 5 years ago being that I remember watching, you know, back in the day. But, you know, especially today is, in hindsight, the most hilarious thing that I, you know, saw that I remembered watching. And it was like how Tulsi Gabbard could win the 2020 election with her just smiling, like, yeah, you know, doing her thing or whatever. I almost bursted out kind of laughing, you know, because I was like, bro, wow, how people were gullible. I mean, honestly. I never was a full Tulsi sim. I did like her, you know, at least initially. But as soon as I started kind of looking into record, I went like, I kind of immediately, I fell off pretty quick. You know, but a lot of people were still simping for her back in the day because, you know, oh, she's hot, you know. Yeah, she's like Dem, kind of progressive-ish. Not really, but, you know, I don't know, boobs. She's hot. Dude, there's that one time where she had, like, on the debate stage, like, some, like, white business dress suit or something. But it was, like, you know, designed to where, like, you know, her chest kind of showing a little. And for some reason, it was straight shiny as fuck. She legit had, like, some shiny, you know, chesticle shit going down a little bit. And, dude, like, at least I remember a DFF reacting to that debate, and even they noticed it. And I went and I was like, what the fuck? Why is her chest shiny? Most likely, whoever soon elects as VP would end up as president because whoever wins the House would likely have too small majority to get past the gridlock by deadline. Senate ties 50-50, then Speaker of the House would become president. Who's the current? Is that Hakeem Jeffries or whatever? Who's the current Speaker of House? This country's fucking government is a nightmare. It is a fucking nightmare. Bruh. We really need to seriously fix some shit. It wouldn't be the current, it would be the Speaker of the House for the next Congress 2025. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. This country is too fucking complicated for its own good, bro. Mike Johnson is current, I think. Oh my God, you're right. No, what, isn't he Senate? No, you're right. Oh my God, fuck. Oh my God. That guy, fuck. Oh my Lord. Because depending on if the House stays or, you know, the way it is, or, you know, or doesn't change enough for that to be different, he'd be the dude. It's so corrupt and outdated, like whoever came up with this bullshit. Old rich elite fucks from the 1700s. And we've only been, like, kind of adapting it ever so slightly as the years went on. And you know what's fucked up? The Articles of Confederation were worse. Like, I mean, people don't realize that, like, our Constitution and shit like that is actually way younger than our country. Because we had the Articles of Confederation, and that shit was bonk. It was incoherent. Like, it literally didn't make sense. Like, it was just broken. It pretty much almost collapsed the country, essentially. I mean, it had to be rewritten. And I think we're starting to get to a point where we might need to just completely and utterly rehaul the fucking thing. We're starting to get to the Articles of Confederation, like, levels of just, like, ridiculous, so I think we just need a clean slate. We just need to have a complete new clean slate. Like, honestly, like, do a complete rewrite of the Constitution. Keep it alive, sure the way it is. But, we're making a lot of fucking changes to that bitch. And then, like, Bill of Rights, modernize that bitch. Just clean slate this fucking thing. Like, oh my God. Because it is absurd. Absurd. The rules for the favor Republicans even more so than electoral college. So they would win the House election unless Democrats win a large majority in November. Which in the state elections, that is a possibility. Even if they're tiny majority, they could elect Trump easily. Yeah, oh my God. I'm just hoping that it does not end up being the case. Because it just shows that not only does, it was there really enough people that were able to at least, want Trump back as a voter, base in this country, but also that our government and our system endorses Trump enough to elect him. That should be an indictment on the entire fucking system, Democrats included, to allow that to fucking be a thing. Tim Walz is VP. Oh my God. You know what? Let it happen, because I think, Trump winning in that way would probably shock him into a point where his heart just seizes or something like that. And then Walz is just prez. Then we got Tim Walz as president, and there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Actually, that sounds like the best outcome, weirdly enough. Give me Walz as president, dude. Let him do his dirty work as, I'm going to be a government consultant, but I'm stabbing you in the back, you fucking bastard. Like, what the fuck? They couldn't even just make it a straight vote? No. Pretty much. What the fuck? Oh. The one time the Senate isn't bullshit, the House was butchered so much that it's even worse than the Electoral College. I know, it's ridiculous. And all in the name of checks and balances to try to have like an even level of government, when it comes to power. And it's like, man, that don't work no more. It just evidently doesn't. I forgot I saved this song to the playlist. I love it, but we're skipping it. There is kind of like a little bit, a little part of me that thinks that, in the hypothetical, if California ever decides to say foot we're on our own, they just take the West Coast with them. I know they got problems, shit, sure. But you know what? They pretty much make up the bulk of this fucking country anyway. And they're like, what, the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world if they were to be their own country. So, you know what? I think they'd be fine. They legit would probably be one of the few one of the few states really that, could legit be fine on its own if it wanted to. You know, but like, if so, can we get Oregon, Washington on it and just make it like, you know, the Pacific states or something like that? Because then we can kind of take advantage of that a little bit. Because I think, you know, at least Oregon and Washington can handle this shit enough to not fuck it up. But we'll definitely be known as like the podunk states of the, you know, of that country. At least in comparison to California, because, you know, they'd be, you know, helping us out a little bit. But wouldn't necessarily have to deal with the rest of the country, so they'd probably get a lot of surplus too. In Hawaii? Yeah, sure, yeah. Hawaii too. I mean, you know, realistically, they could probably be their own nation as well and just get, you know, imports and just like, you know, have like, you know, some sort of like an import export, you know, kind of thing. Chow. The nation of Chow, dude. The United Nations of Chow. Bro. Unchow. United Nations of Chow, bro. Boom. Unchow. Dude, Unchow. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it already. Because then we can still all kind of be semi-autonomous, but we're just like a close, you know, union of, you know, nation of nations, you know, coming together, saying, you know, fuck, you know, what the, you know, former state was. Dude, that'd be legit. Because what if, like, you know, because, I mean, I feel like, because that would probably even open up possibility, like, because, you know, Alaska, why not, you know? Let them join. You know, I'd be okay with that, too. Unchawa, bro. There we go. See? If Trump was president, Wallace was VP, Wallace would beat 25th Trump pretty fast. Oh, yeah, so quick.
It'll make your head spin, folks. It'll make your head spin.
It says 25th needs the majority of the cabinet. Well, oh, yeah, he would be an out. Well, yeah, Waltz would be an outlier then, would he? Trump would appoint loyalists, no chance. Yeah. You're right, yeah. He would pretty much be that outlier in the whole thing. In fact, honestly, it would probably tarnish his reputation. Now I'm thinking about it because of that. Not because he would try to do that, but because now people will associate the same with the Trump administration. And he's basically going to be neutered. Trump will never let him do anything, you know, and basically just, that would just ruin his name if you think about it. Fuck. Because if you need a majority of the goddamn cabinet to do the 25th on Trump, god fucking damn it. That ruined the chance of a Waltz presidency. All right. Who's going to be the third time's the charm guy? You know what I mean by that. Who's going to be doing the third time's the charm? Who's doing it? Who's going to volunteer as tribute? Because I'm not doing it. Fuck that. I'm not. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be joking. Well, I'm just joking about luck and, you know, gambling and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, like the roulette table. That's what I'm talking about. They still give Vance as prez. Well, because, you know, Trump could probably immediately just drop Walls in and, you know, put just Vance in there, yeah. Kind of the same idea of, like, you know, Harris doing that with, you know, Vance if it went the other way. Man, why does our government suck? Like, seriously. Like, just with how convoluted, bullshit, and broken and dumb this shit is, like, it really should just seriously, like, just show how much of an indictment, you know, it really is, not just on ourselves, but to the fucking world. It also makes me realize, like, man, no wonder a lot of other people take advantage of our ass. Yeah. At least that's all clear now, instead of all gunky and gross and ugh. Is there a situation where Trump ends up with Pelosi as VP? Because that would be something. Oh my Do I even want to imagine what the fuck that would look like? Because that would, even Pelosi would be disturbed, and I think hate that and hate everything about that. Would they just both die because of the realization that she's the Veep to Trump and Trump's Veep is her? And they both just simultaneously go like, would that actually be a good thing? Would that be a good thing? Yes, but really far-fetched. But would that be a good thing? Think about it. With the shock of that revelation and news to both of them, shock them to the point their heart seizes for both of them, and they're just like, and just. Yeah. Isn't a Speaker of the House and the third liners in the House? D wins the House and nominate Pelosi as Speaker. Bruh. Bro. What if the Democrats nominate AOC as Speaker of the House and in the same situation it's a 50-50 tie in the Senate? And she gets nominated, bro. Dude. What if it's a Trump Cortez? Trump Cortez. Oh, snap, bro, dude. What if they just say, fuck her, we're going to get AOC up, Speaker. This situation happens. Now she's Veep to Trump. Dude. Nothing will happen to her. She'll be fine. In fact, honestly, she'd be like, all right, I'm going bad, bitch. I'm about to go, like, backstab motherfucker. Honestly, would that just unleash the bad bitch out of her? Would that unleash, like, a hell hath no fury, like, Latino woman scorn kind of shit, kind of thing, where the chocolate's coming out and shit, about to dude, what if it just unleashes, like, a fucking fiery leopard out of her, dude? Like, seriously, like, oh my god. That'd be some wild shit, dude. Because she's got it, in her. I remember that girl, baby girl, going after MTG. I saw that fucking fire. I saw that in her. She's got it in her. I wish she'd come out more often, but I know she's got the gutzpah. Girl, baby girl. Dude, I can't get over that, honestly. No, well, man, for me, that's like one of her highlights for me. Like, that's a highlight, for me, too. But, damn. Actually, no, women don't really want to work because then Harris would become president. It has to be one in that way, but there's a lot of purple states. Yeah, dude. Man, the fact that we could think about these kind of funny hypotheticals, knowing that the percentile is so small, but the fact there's even a percentile that there's some alternate universe where that probably happens is kind of like a mind fuck a little bit. You gotta admit. Like, our country is so fucking stupid and weird with its rules and convoluted mess of outdated draconian nightmare shit fuel. It's like, I mean, it's wild that these weird hypotheticals technically can possibly happen. It's entirely possible, as our holy ape, Joe Rogan himself, has said. It's entirely possible. Is it likely? No. But it's fun to think about. And honestly, would our country just be more exciting, if that was the case? You know what I mean? Like, I think people would actually be kind of like, into politics being like, what the fuck is going on now? Like, wait, this happened, that happened. Wait, there's like, they'll be confused about the foo-foo, bullshit language about it, but I don't blame them. Honestly, I am a little bit too. But, like, the fact that, like, if something like that were to happen, I bet it would probably get people a little bit more focused on shit like this a little more. Being like, hey, maybe, wait, well, these things can happen? Wait, how did this wild card happen? I didn't necessarily vote for this. Wait, how it works like that? What the fuck? So it was kind of maybe, I don't know, it might crack a little something. It might make people start thinking a little bit for once after decades of just be I don't know what. In a weird fucking stupor of shit. I don't know. I mean, I don't fucking know, man. One thing I'll say, it's just like, one thing I've always have like kind of noticed growing up and being alive and shit, seeing people, I kind of like to people watch when I'm, doing my thing or at work or whatever. And man, dude, there are a lot of, just, turn on the blinders and just kind of go, just fucking do their own thing, not pay attention kind of motherfuckers. There are a lot of these fucking people. And they're not even dumb or anything. It's not even that. It's just that they just got the blinders on. They're just like, I'm autopilot. It's like, oh no. It's like, man, I get it, but it's like, fuck. I mean, it's like you can't have these blinders on. Because holy shit, so many people can play like a fucking fiddle, especially with weird shit like this. Like a lot of our fucking politics are built around it. If anything, kind of enforce it in a sense. It's like you got your FUBA teams, political FUBA. You got blue, and then you get the red one. Take your pick, and then me. So there you go. I mean, like, the one thing I remember growing up, honestly, before I was even when I was kind of politically aware, as a teenager and shit. I mean, well, I'm being politically aware, especially way more so than, a lot of my peers, but, not as aware as I am now, obviously. But I mean, a lot of my, my parents and, mostly my mom and a lot of my family from her side would be like, oh, we're going to raise you as a Republican. You're going to, grow up, and raise up and you're going to be a Republican, blah, blah, blah. You're going to vote for him, right? And talk about that. Kind of trying to implant that in a way and, trying to kind of like put those seeds in me. And it's like, and I always would mention, it's like, no, I'm just going to vote for the person I like. But once I start getting more aware, I'm like, you can't pressure me into voting for something I especially don't agree with. Like, stop it. I've straight up told them that before. I'm just like, I'm like, nope, just stop it. Like, I if anything, I don't vote based off party bullshit anyway. Like, I mean, so I don't even accept the premise of like, that type of shit in the get-go, but didn't realize it then, but I pretty much was rejecting it then just as much as I do now. Racist Republican, what the fuck? Yeah. Because like, my mom and her side of fucking family and lifelong fucking Republicans and shit, and all that, Texas, shit, right? And they're all Texan born and raised motherfuckers. So, to them, that's just like a part of their like kind of political way of life a little bit in a sense. And they really wanted to kind of push that, especially after, 9/11, because post 9/11, like a lot of these more like kind of Christian right-leaning families really started getting super politically active. I mean, Reagan pretty much allowed that to get normalized and push that, on the national level, especially back then. But it really, really fucking ramped up after 01. And like, there was a little bit, my child growing up where none of that was there. But there was definitely points where it was trying to be kind of like instilled. And it's fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird. Like, I mean, because you do have like these families and like, these parents that'll raise their kids to kind of like, we're going to raise them as like a Republican Christian, or we're going to raise them to be a good liberal Democrat. Like, I mean, you do get this on like kind of, in America uniquely, like, on the spectrum with, politically with this. And it's fucking weird, to be honest. Because like, because honestly, kids, especially growing up, tend to be very rebellious about like how their parents want them to ought to act. And if they're trying to instill this like Christian conservatism thing or whatever the fuck, they're gonna kind of rebel to the other way. Look at me now, right? And it's like, because of the constant kind of like, still like this is how you ought to be kind of thing. I was like, fuck that. No, I don't want to. I don't even remotely identify with this. Why are you trying to say that that's me? So there's a sense of rebellion. And I mean, especially with like Gen Xers being raised by a lot of boomers who came out of that hippie, dippy flower power era, and then pretty much instilled Reagan and shit. And then you had like millennials who were, partly raised by those parents, and later Gen Xers and shit. I mean, there's always like a pattern of rebellion with these generations, depending on what they're kind of being raised, culturally and shit. And I kind of got raised with that kind of Reaganite style Christian boomeristic bullshit. And honestly, it's partly why I'm a little more millennial than Zoomer, being a cusper, because I identify more of that millennial rebellion a little bit. Like, because there's a lot of sense of like countercultural, like rebellious nature within a lot of like more like underbelly kind of like millennial society, or well, not society, but like in the generational like culture at the time at the peak, during like the in a sense, but especially because a lot of that was picked up, a lot of that kind of countercultural shit, broadly would be kind of picked up and made like into like third wave like neopunk kind of stuff, or different odd iterations of rock, thrash, all sorts of different shit. Like kind of these modern new wave like styles, like I mean metalcore, deathcore, a lot of this like like really heavy, super guttural shit, but also very hyper technical too. Like there was a lot of like variations of all this type of shit, and some of it just taking the piss too. Like I mean, there's Okili Dokili, which is a Ned Flanders kind of bass metalcore, deathcore kind of band, but they go ridiculously hard. It's pretty awesome. You got like bands like that, where this like there obviously is this very countercultural like kind of aesthetic to it. But at the same time, it's actually kind of taken from culture, because I mean, all of the band members literally look like a variation of Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Hence the band's name Okili Dokili. It's basically it's taken from culture, but turning it on its head basically, because Ned Flanders is like the how the neighbor. But then you have that band, and it's like, just going super heavy with just like, just like super heavy shit. It's like, what? Whoa. Then you got like bands like the Latter Day Skanks, Psycho Sick. A lot of these like bands that take kind of like thrash era, kind of like the core sound of like metalcore and like from 90s shit that was coming out there in the time, and kind of like like doing some countercultural shit with even the genre itself, and expanding them and making them into different things, where there's some humor to it, or there's like some extra technicality, where things like gents and shit like that, or like mathcore eventually kind of became a thing. Where there's a lot more hyper technicality and major emphasis on like, on time signatures and time signature changes, stuff like that. It's wild. Eventually it gets kind of a little too complicated when it comes to a lot of these subgenres, but at the end of the day, they all kind of come from the same root. So, especially Schubert. Wait, hold on. I think actually, let me go to all messages to top messages. That would probably help. There we go. She ran on left on the campaign. They immediately went to the right. Which one? Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. The clock used to be in Eastern Oregon District years ago. Well, nothing I was ever aware of. But yeah, a lot of the countercultural stuff that especially when I was like growing up with and stuff, kind of almost like wanted to kind of take up to what the Gen X's were doing, but they didn't want to do it their way, right? Like, I mean, because there was a lot of the same similar sounds, same feelings, same kind of angst. But it's like, well, I don't want my Gen X parents telling me this or just that, or my Gen X siblings, telling me what's what. I like it, but I'm doing my own thing. Fuck them. There's kind of that angst to it. And that's like, I think, where a lot of the humor comes into it. Because, I mean, there's a little bit more of a sense of like a cavalieriness and, and like kind of like a Schadenfreude or just wanting to be kind of like raunchy or, doing edgy stuff. And, when it comes to humor and, like, so there was definitely a little overlap with that too. But what I love about it though is that, even though is kind of like some generational like, differences and stuff, I mean, it's not all an absolute. You don't want to treat it like that anyway, because then it almost seems like generational horoscope shit. So I mean, it's never totally absolute. Because even like a lot of the punk shit that I go to for a lot of like, people my age or a little older or younger, or in bands or doing their thing, shit like that. I mean, there's a lot of old geezers that are holding that shit down that are still out there doing their thing. Like, I mean, seeing MDC and, even if they're not playing, I'll see either like Dave or, his guitarist, hanging out, just hanging out at the show and shit like that. There's always like, random little things like that. And it's like, it's legit, like, not just a really cool thing, but it shows that there's never a generational thing with any of this shit. Like, I mean, there's, like, I mean, each generation has kind of certainly has left its impact, and at least especially when it comes to these, like musically, at least, what we're talking about here, where I think, at least in this case, it's positive, mostly, and, these type of things, I think, really help kind of flourish and build a lot of, the more up and coming generations too. Because, I mean, seeing the fact that we even got old geezers, people who are like, my age or younger, even I'll see people, where it's like, man, I was going to house shows when, you were 18 and 19 kid. It's like, and now I'm going to stuff like this. So it's like, man, you kind of missed out, on the golden days a little bit. Cause I mean, I will say like the whole like underground, like house show kind of thing, like it's not really, at least in Portland, not much of a thing anymore. I mean, it's still a thing, but it's more established, if that makes sense. It's not like some random like, Facebook thing where it's just like word of mouth and you just kind of have to like hear about it and then just like go to it or something, It's not like, back in the old days where you just had to hear from a guy who knows a guy that, owns the house or something because it's too popular. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I remember why, a lot of the house shows, basically kind of started falling out was because of, they got too popular, so they end up getting broken up by cops a lot. Like, some fucking, NIMBY little weird bitch, from down the street would be like, oh my God, it's a loud noise, or some shit like that, and they'll freak the fuck out over it and bust that shit because there's like way too many people and this and that. Even though the, owners of that house and the entire neighborhood knew about it, like a month prior or something, being like, hey, we're going to have a show here. We got some bands that were lining up and this and that, just want to let you know ahead of time. And every motherfucker will be like, oh, okay, fine. But then all of a sudden, one of them wants to, pipe up and shit. There was actually a scandal about it last year. There was a venue in Southwest that was getting way too overcrowded. Oh, shit. Well, I suppose in a weird way, I'm kind of glad I, don't go to as much anymore, because there was, like, a uniqueness to the house shows where, like, yeah, it would get some people in there, and it would be bumping and shit like that, but if it got overcrowded, it almost got like hard to even have fun because if you want to mosh a little bit or maybe talk to friends, there's just too many people, so it's going to just be too fucking loud. It's a house show. It's not supposed to have like fucking like 150 people there. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like, a 50 to 75 maximum, depending on the size of the place, kind of little thing. It's meant to be low key a little bit. Where like some people who are just starting out, wanting to get a few people to like get their foot in the door for like, going to shows and stuff like that. At least getting the word of mouth, being like, oh yeah, this one band, they just, started playing at this house show the other night. It's first show and it's pretty fucking awesome gig. And, and I heard they're trying to get some connects, to your band, potentially open up because, they've been following you for a while and be like, oh shit, well, are they here? Yeah, they're still over there. They're, just, like smoke some weed if some of their fans over there or something like that. And then there you go. Hopefully to do more punk on the beach next year. That would be pretty cool, dude. There's a lot of like cool little spots, around Portland to, do a little like punk beach shit. Especially in that little spot that that was at, because I mean that was at that little Motorhead bike ride that we all did, and that was a fucking awesome spot. And I kind of liked a lot of the industry around there because it's just like, man, this is like some blue collar, like this is like some punk ass blue collar shit. That's what makes me feel like when I'm doing shit like that. It's fun. A little bit is this. Like a Bruo. Don't think I've actually heard the song yet. What time are you and Logan thinking Elk Rock tomorrow? Honestly, I don't know yet. Him and I pitched the idea, and then you sent it to the group chat the other night. So I'm thinking just honestly whenever. I know I'm going to want to try to rest up a little bit because of this, like, Bill Champagne right here a little bit now. But, I mean, I would probably at least imagine, like, 6, 7, maybe? Because I think I think at least him and I might go down to Cha-Cha-Cha's and, have some Modelos and some tacos and shit, and then go our way down there. But I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't know what the whole concrete plan is of everything quite yet. Because I know we're going to probably do that and then maybe like do a little final run, at Selwood, I think, as well. I think it was something like that. So I'd be down for Cha-Cha's. Oh yeah, the Cha-Cha's pretty good. Used to go there all the time, after high school and middle school and shit, because my mom used to have a photography business down there and shit. And we used to go there for tacos all the time. Dude, so good. It's about just as good as I had it last time, because I had it for my birthday for like a little birthday dinner before doing some karaoke of Mama on 16th back in August. And it's just as good. It's just as good. And they got Modelo's on tap. And dude, Modelo on tap. I also kind of forgot how much I kind of like Modelo's. I mean, it's not like the most flavorful, tasteful thing in the world, but it's crisp and like refreshing. As a beer, like it legit, especially when you get a nice cold on tap, like it's like a nice, crisp, refreshing, like, kind of burr. It just kind of hits the spot, Like for me, I wouldn't even drink those to like get drunk on. I just drink it just to like sip it for a nice, good old summer night kind of thing, or a fall evening, I guess nowadays. Actually, speaking of the song, I was kind of reading up about like this whole suspension that's been going on until January, and it's basically just like straight up like, oh well, we just need that, so we can negotiate. We're gonna get everyone back to work until January so we can negotiate stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, the point of a strike is so that you're forced to the table, and until there is an agreement, then the strike's done. Like, what is this weird foo-foo yee-ass, like, oh, let us just stop it so we can negotiate. It's like, fuck you. No, that's not how things work. I mean, it's just a bunch of bullshit. Because as I was initially reading up, it's saying there was like, oh, there was like an agreement to it. They're suspending, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And my initial thought was like, oh, they agreed to it. But no, they just are doing that so they can't come to agreement. I'm just like, oh my fucking God, that's the point of it. And what's dumb is that if the strike just kept going, like, and they didn't fuck with it, I bet a negotiation would come way quicker than January. But they just want to make sure the economy kept chugging along. Because, like, I mean, they didn't, because, like, they know that that's going to hit, the coffers and the profits of a lot of different industries if that shit kept going. And, well, hey, I mean, just as much as, the longshoreman union president was saying, like, now people will start realizing, the fucking value and the power of, like, longshoremen. Because they do, on top of, like, Teamsters and, like, rail workers and truckers and shit, those motherfuckers make this economy run in this country. So it's just like, I mean, there's truth to that fucking shit. And for them to kind of get fucked a little bit, on this, to kind of prove a point, is really shitty. Because dead ass, like, they should still be going on right now. Like, if they're just, like, if they were forced to suspend the strike just so they can negotiate further, it's like that nullifies all point of the goddamn strike. Like, now you're just going to piss them off even more, if anything, and, probably make them strike harder or longer, and probably won't even buy it again if, there's no agreement, and if they try to do this shit again. I also kind of wonder what's going on with the Boeing strike. Because I don't know if that's still going on or not. I haven't heard much news out of it since the strike begun, which is like, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that. And considering it's Boeing, you would think you would hear some news about that kind of shit. I mean, honestly. Because they've been in hot water lately, so any news that, could potentially be negative towards Boeing and maybe good for their workers, or at least show that there could be some improvement on a lot of the problems that they've been dealing with this shit, which is part of the reason why the workers are on strike too. It's because of the lack of fucking proper safety standards, not just in the workplace for them, but for the product they're putting out, which is their aircraft. These 737s and shit like that. So it's like, I mean, their shit is definitely very fucking important. So I guess, honestly, my assumption, because I haven't heard much news, is that it's still going on. They're just hoping that maybe, it will like quietly go away, they being Boeing, and eventually they could just come to an agreement, and just hopefully it's like, something that no one really cares about, or they can at least still skirt, certain safety regulations and procedures and shit. Because they're really fucking notorious right now. Because if you're a whistleblower for Boeing, I had to get a new identity and move into that weird little, like, chunk of the United States that's in Canada. That's, like, near Washington. Because that would be the only spot I would ever feel safe, if I was a Boeing whistleblower. What if Amazon buys Boeing to develop drones? Don't put that in my head. No, fuck that. Fucking, have the government fucking buy Boeing. Completely. Nationalize Boeing. Fuck that. Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? Brother, Amazon buys Boeing? Brother, gross. What's that? What's that, brother? Oh, and I'm not even trying to meme anymore. I'm just like, oh, that just. You don't want to fly Bezos' face on the next plane you fly on? No, I don't, man. You know what? Like honestly, I'm more down for like an Embraer these days. I actually just heard they have like this new like automated like system that they just put in, like an autopilot system for when it comes to taking off, like which basically helps pilots when it comes to like takeoff procedures. They still have to taxi all that shit, right? But as soon as they're on the runway and everything, pretty much there's like an automated computer system that that obviously recognizes the airport and destination shit like that, and would pretty much like handle the procedure of being able for takeoff and shit. But you still have to manage the throttle and stuff, and unless there's pilot input, it pretty much will just like handle its own V1 rotate, kind of like takeoff procedure and shit. And there's already like autopilot automated like landing systems for a lot of aircraft and just in general, not just with Embraer. So they're kind of like, taking a little extra step to be like, can we do the with takeoff stuff? And they're like, yeah, we can. So we'll just, add that to our, future aircraft, moving forward and, have like, and, upgrade our aircraft with that type of stuff next time to get retrofitted and shit like that. So it's kind of coming a long way when it comes to like flight and shit, and to the point where, a lot of it is just the pilot being there, mostly if there's like emergencies or if like something happens or they need to take control, which, most of the time is never any real problems. It's just like, oh, there's turbulence. I need to kind of take control because, autopilot's going to be a little wonky, if it, because they won't be able to consider that or anything. Or just random shit like that. Or maybe they have to take a different course of, correction because of like a major storm system rolling in, or like, well, we don't want to fly in that, so I'm going to, do some different waypoint trajectories and go that way, and avoid this shit. So, outside of little circumstances like that, like these automated systems are actually pretty good. It's just that Boeing's the one that wants to skirt, these procedures and, if anything, not even add them to their fucking aircraft and shit like that. Like, they're just scummy. So, like, they're uniquely fucked about it. And considering their legacy with the government and how long they've been kind of interwoven with aircraft development, research, production, etc. with America, like, one of their biggest fucking, like achievements broadly is the B-17, the B-29, the B-52s. Like, those are all Boeing. Those are Boeing aircraft. They're major legacy aircraft that, some of them still flying to this fucking day. Like, at least, the few that are left. Well, the B-52s are still in service even. And those fucking things have been around since, well, the 50s. And those motherfuckers are still in service. So it's like, their legacy stands, so just fucking nationalize them. They're pretty much like another arm of the government. They're just like the aviation production wing of it, basically. Just nationalize that bitch. It would make sense to me. And, and honestly, like, when it comes to all these other, smaller development companies, just let them have contracts with Boeing, broadly at that point as a nationalized service. That, to me, would make some sense. Because you don't have to nationalize all these industries, but fucking hell, at least in the airline industry or aircraft industry, but Boeing's the big one that really needs to go. That's a private corporation. It needs to go. They're so powerful. They sent assassins. They have fucking Agent 47 ass motherfuckers killing people. Whistleblowers and shit, dude. It's like, they're F-City motherfuckers. It's like, dude, like, I don't even think Amazon does that. There's been enough whistleblowing about Amazon, it's like, and they got enough fucking money for that, but they ain't doing that. They ain't fucking sending Agent 47 to some random jack-off's fucking home that bitched about having to piss in a water bottle. But oh no, if it's Boeing, so you're cooked, dude. You're dead. It's like, bruh. Bruh. They're like a fucking mafia, dude. they kind of operate like one if they're doing shit like that. Watch, that's Bowen unleashing a lot of gas into the house to where it goes boom, boom. That's Bowen right now about to blow up the house. All content satire, that's a joke. My dad's outside. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something with a hose. That's what's actually happening. I promise Bowen ain't gonna kill me. I'm trying to think of like any other fucking corporation that operates like this. And honestly, maybe Coca-Cola or Nestle, because they have a lot of their like, raw like production when it comes to like cocoa beans and, cacao beans for like chocolate and shit. Like, I mean, there's been legit like death squads and hit squads that they've sent out, in places, like in Colombia and shit like that. There's actually like a couple like wiki articles about like, times where some of these workers try to unionize and the companies would legit just send death squads to fucking kill these guys. Like the union heads and these trade unions agitators and shit. Like, so they go the extra level by just straight up sending hitmen, but not here though. If some workers on strike, happen here or whatever, they're like, blah, blah. They'll get a little disgruntled, but whatever. You want a bark bun? I got a bark bun for you. Oh my god, you fucking viper. I just found an old Andre Yang. Andre Yang? Is that like Andrew Yang's secret black Asian brother? Andre Yang, dude. What the fuck? I know he meant Andrew Yang, but bruh. Jesus! Chill, dog. Andrew Yang on a fake $1,000 bill. Cringe. Oh, no. Ugh. Was that when we were all trying to be like, yo, his UBI shit be kind of cool fam kind of thing? I will admit, I'm kind of glad he kind of brought that more to a more nationalized kind of like talking point to where even despite everything, he's still kind of like, that idea is still kind of talked about a little bit. But, dude, his proposal and his ideas about things with a UBI legit were pretty dumb. Like, he was just kind of like a weirdo, honestly. And just like one of these hyper-centrist goobers. I mean, he was such a dork. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of glad that, he had like a whole, like get the UBI thing out there, but, everything else about him was just bunk. I actually went to his rally. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did go to one of his rallies. Man, so some unfortunate nostalgia for you there, sir. I'm kind of glad I haven't really had any cringe political rally moments. We almost got inside a Bernie rally. I remember that. Then we ended up just watching it live at a Burger King right outside of where the rally was being held. And then, outside of like protest political like speech rallies and shit, I haven't really been to many political rallies actually. I think honestly, I think the only one that I ever really attempted to go to, but it was just maximum capacity. They just wouldn't let anyone else in. Was with the Bernie rally the first time he was here. That was a Burgerville. Was it a Burgerville? It was either a Burgerville, Burger King. I don't fuck, dude. The fast food joint had a burger in the name. That's all I remember. I didn't give a fuck about the place. I just wanted to watch the rally somewhere and just sit down because I was a little disappointed. Dude, I remember seeing like some people being like progressives against Bernie being there. and I also remember seeing like some black Israelites there too, yelling at a bunch of people. Dude, that day was pretty fun, I will admit, because there were some wild characters outside trying to get their shit out there, talking their weird foo-foo shit, and I'm just like, this is fun. That's also when I met my old friend from elementary school, Jordan and shit. I haven't, and honestly, that was the last time I ever saw him too. The first time and the last time in a long fucking time I saw him, and I haven't seen him since. And I always wonder how that motherfucker's doing it, because like he was a corkball a little bit, but and the reason why he was one of my friends because he was also like autistic like I was, man. But it was a little bit more, I guess, like I don't know, severe about it when it came to like meltdown stuff. At least when I remember growing up. But he was still a really cool dude. Like him and I got along a lot. We were like two peas in a pod almost, and we'd just hang out, talk about all sorts of random fucking shit. To be honest, I don't even remember any of it. I just know it was just all sorts of shit. But yeah, like I was saying, it's like that was like the first but last time in fucking years since I've seen it. But every now and then I still think about being like, oh, what was I ever doing? Oh, look at you. You're a goof. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wonder how he would think about me a little bit, because I do remember one of the last little interactions with him was like, it was also around the time where I kind of started smoking weed a little bit, and I asked him, it's like, hey, do you know what do you think about weed or whatever? I think I asked him about that, and he's like, oh no, don't do that, they'll fry your brain, man. They'll fry your brain, bro. And I'm just like, bro, but you also look like Shaggy with an intense beard. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, he did kind of have like the like James Gunn, Scooby-Doo, fucking live action Shaggy looking vibe a little bit. It's just like, damn, dude, if you're like Shaggy's son, you would pass as Shaggy's kid. Like straight up. Last time. You're so motivated. What? Number one, we need to get the leaves out that rough, which I can't do. Oh, okay. I'm not motivated at the moment, but see that big, that's not gonna last worth of shit, but that big piece of particle board, or OSB, whatever. What? That one. What about it? Throw that down on the deck so no one falls through the hole. What are you? I'm aware what you're talking about. I'm not gonna be doing it tonight, though. At least not right now. I don't want you to do it tonight. Well, just put a pin on it and remind me later. I mean, like, and also, I'm well aware about the holes. Like, I ain't gonna be falling for that shit. I know, just to cover up, so no one else. Never mind, just throw that shit. If you wouldn't mind. Oh my god. Oh, my head's gonna explode. I think he's finally starting to recover a little bit from what I had. I honestly haven't seen him in a couple days because he was kind of like fucked up a little bit from the cold that I had a week ago. Actually, I was a little like, I had a moment in my mind, like, when I came back from karaoke from last night, being like, if I don't see him up and about, am I going to walk into that room and think like, I'm about to walk in on There was a part of my mind, I'm like, I don't want to worry about right now, so I'm just good to have my moment, have my fun. and then go home and then figure that out. And it was up and about. I was like, well, what the fuck? I was like, yo, bro, I'm just kind of surprised. I thought you were not around. Because there was a moment where I'm like, I haven't seen this motherfucker in a couple of days. That's unusual. That's not normal. You should see him up and about doing shit at some point during the day. Just a little bit. A little unusual. This little song's old. Too low-key vibed. Oh, it's the fucking goddamn Jesus, like 16-minute one. Don't need that one. Don't need a 16-minute Songarinos. That's just like zone out kind of like stoner rock. We don't need it right now. I should have convinced the doggo to get up here while I had the pork buns, but I'm out of pork buns now. I fed all of it to him. You ate all those things like it was a fucking vacuum cleaner, bro. You're insane. You know that, right? You're insane when it comes to like your food, bro. Just a vacuum. I should have like named him Kirby, but I didn't realize that I had a Kirby. But he's straight up a Kirby boy. He's ridiculous. Is there a Russian like translation for Kirby? Because if so, maybe that could actually be like the little first name for him. Maybe. I found my old passport. My signature was practically the same as it was when I was 11. The same as when you were 11? Oh my god. Damn. Honestly, my signature is fucking dumb. I'm not gonna show it. I mean, I guess nah, I'm not. I'm not going to, obviously. I'm not gonna be that much of a fucking idiot. But well, I guess I can. I just have to blot. I'm just gonna blot literally everything else out. But dude, my signature is fucking dumb. I did not like it because it's just bunk. I do like how at least like my photo. I can at least show the photo. It pretty much it ain't much different. 4 years ago, I mean, honestly, I kind of look a little stoned, but you know, hey. I mean, honestly, I legit don't look any different at all. Hey, still 8 years, or still another 4 years left. Expires in 2028. Oh, some forgery potential. Order Harley mini fridge and put in Ignar's Rab. Put it on Ignar's Rab. Huh? Oh, tab. On my tab? I don't think you're going to be able to put it on my tab just because you saw, like, a photo of me from 4 years ago from, a passport photo and just, like, the lame-ass signature that you could probably barely see anywhere. I mean, if all the other information was there, then sure, you probably could. Unless you have my card information. Which I'm not dumb enough to show and all that. But if it's troll one of those Andy No people signed you up for a credit card in the name of Ingvar Husky. Well, it's like I never. It wouldn't impact me then, would it? Because I mean, it's gonna be their money and shit, all that. Like, would that even impact me? And also, that was a while ago. I don't even think any of those motherfuckers, follow up my dumbass anymore. I think they realized I'm just kind of like a random stoner bro that likes to talk politics and stuff like that, and realize I'm not worth it. Though I will admit, back in those Twitch days when that happened and shit, like there were a few of them that popped in and said what's up, and I was like, well, look, hey, I mean, just don't be a douchebag about things and whatever, but hey. And honestly, I think some of them respected it. I mean, but I don't know about all of them. I'm sure some of them were fucking freaks, but because I know I got food sent to my door literally not even shortly after all that. So I know I was doxxed by a couple of them, or at least maybe one person that, for like a 3-week period, I had like 4 different times I had random food sent to my door, which it was just DoorDash orders. And weirdly enough, it was food that I liked. And I was like, you know what? I ain't letting this go to waste. Fuck it. I mean, I didn't have any problem eating it. I'm just going to be honest. Free food. Because if that's the level, like, right wingers going to do, like, if that's what they do when they dox you, it's just like, we're going to send food to you, intimidating you. It's like, yeah, sure, that's intimidation because I guess I know where I live now. But you know what? Hey, free food because you're paying money to send me food. You're an idiot. Why don't we actually show up and do something? That's what I've always wondered. Are you sure it wasn't a mutual aid that would have your info from a jail officer? Why would they send me food randomly? I mean, if that was because we're doing stuff like that during the protest to raise morale. You would think they would at least let the people know and be like, hey, if you want, we can send you some food, to like, save money and stuff like that. Like, you think they'd let you know, but they never said anything about that to me. I mean, and I'm sure maybe they would have had it as an option or to ask, like, hey, if you want, like, but I don't know, like, that I guess there is a possibility there that could be the case, but I doubt it. At least for my case, considering that, I mean, Andy, no, and plus, like, I know me protesting, and streaming a lot of that shit definitely attracted more eyes and ears, when it came to people watching me, including the fucking government. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of other possibilities where I think it's a little more accurate to kind of, I don't know, be a little, safer side to say it was probably right wingers. Dude, there was like one time, I'm sure I know I've told the story. I don't know if I actually directly told you, but no, I'm pretty sure I have. But it was when like you and I were hanging out at one of those protests, and I think I got there after work or something. And after we split because we left around the same time, I was still on my bike after you left. And then one of those unmarked fed vehicles, and this is during the time where the whole fear about them black bagging people and dragging them away to undisclosed locations and shit was going on. And dead ass, dude, one of those unmarked vehicles fucking rolled up on my ass, like not even like 3 minutes after we left. You told me about that, yeah. I mean, I'm glad I fucking booked it because. Like, I mean, the only reason why I noticed because my phone was right here. I literally just pulled something up. I was just looking at comments at that point. I noticed, headlights rolling up behind me. And so I kind of did this to kind of get a little peripheral. I didn't really like do that, to kind of look, but I just saw, and there was 2 doors, the driver's side and the passenger back side, driver's side, opened up. And I was like, pocket, bolting. I just like got up and just rolled, dude, because I already fucking knew. I already knew. Because it was like one of those unmarked vehicles for sure, and the silhouettes I saw were in tack gear. Not just some random ass motherfuckers. They were tacked out. Because they probably thought they could catch me off guard, and I'm not that stupid. But oof, even just thinking about it, man, I need the fucking jeebies knowing that shit, dude. Knowing that our fucking like cops and the government even were kind of watching my ass, and those Fed marshals, dude. Definitely gives you kind of like a permanent like sense of paranoia. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I've always kind of had like a little back of my mind kind of thought about shit like that, just because of that. I suppose I can see how like, a conspiratorial nut can be made from shit like that, but but still, it's like it can't really. I guess maybe it's just like a PTSD thing, maybe to an extent, but I've never been able to like ultimately like kind of completely shake it off. Like there's always been like a back of my mind of like, this motherfucker watching me right now. And I always kind of like have this tendency to want to like look behind me, even though there's like nobody there or, or whatever the fuck, And it's just because of shit like that to an extent. I mean, during those protests, dude, like, I mean, when those, unmarked Fed Marshal motherfuckers and weirdos, were rolling around, they were acting like fucking like mafia gang motherfuckers and shit. Like, I mean, they were just looking for opportunities to snag a motherfucker and kidnap them and all this shit. It's freaky. It's one thing when the cops are like ICE or whatever the fuck is doing their stupid shit, but it was another whole different ball game and a whole different like rodeo when those fucking feds rolled in. Like straight up, that was a whole different ball game that just really struck a fucking itch in me that I just can't scratch anymore in a weird way, if that makes sense. Because like, there's just it's I don't know, it's hard to explain. Because obviously, outside of just tracking my ass via my phone geolocation shit or whatever the fuck, like, and knowing, that they obviously were monitoring different streams and shit like that. And it was one of those things where it's like, they just fucking knew. And they also definitely were able to geolocate you, you, Rib, with your shit too, and knew that you left. Like, so, and that either meant that they were either just down the block just watching from a distance, or they just like turned the corner and rolled up because they're, looking at the, real-time geolocation shit with everything. Whatever it was, that it definitely left me shook. Like when it came to a lot of how that happened. Because I still think about it sometimes, being like, they rolled up quick. It was less than like 3 minutes. So like as soon as you left, I knew there was like a new Deep Fat Fried episode that they released or something. So I just was pulling that up, looked at the comments for like maybe a minute or two. Then those fucking headlights rolled up, and I was like, I'm putting my phone away. And as I'm doing that, I'm seeing these fucking, tack silhouette geared out looking motherfuckers roll, stepping out on, on the left side. I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. Fuck this. That was way too quick. And then there was another unmarked vehicle like a couple blocks down, slowly rolling up, and so I had to kind of slow it down a little bit, wait for them to turn the corner, and I just had to speed right back the fuck up, which was even harder because it was on a slight uphill incline. I will say, to get the fuck out of that area, many traffic laws are violated. I will just admit that, but you know what? I ain't getting fucking snatched by no goddamn fucking weird ass fucking flat-foot fucking Fed. Hell no. I hear mumble voices. You're on your way to jail. Yep. Dude, I hate how a lot of those streams from those Twitch days are just fucking like you had to be in that era. You know what I mean? Because fuck, dude, there was some wild fucking things that happened. I caught some wild shit with those protests. Like, I mean, I was in the front lines for a lot of shit when those fucking cops started rolling in and everyone with their shields. And, dude, there was some nights, man, where I got like probably the highlight for footage, when it came to what was going on out there. I mean, fuck. And I know the hard drives on my old fucking computer that got fried, back in with the fucking stupid storm that, knocked out, a lot of power and shit and fried that bitch. Like, I know some of those streams, not all of them, but at least some of them are saved on there. And if the hard drive is recoverable, I mean, I could probably at least, be like, hey, retrospect, kind of shit or whatever. Here's just raw, uncut, streams from back then kind of shit. Like rescued hard drives. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, if I could, I know my PC's where I've left it ever since it got fucked, so I can bring it. Because, I mean, it potentially is recoverable. Can you download from Twitch? Well, I'm banned from Twitch, and I've tried, appealing and stuff, and I mean, so unless I can get unbanned on Twitch and maybe go back into that, then maybe. But I don't think Twitch is going to let me. I have to make a new account, but that ain't going to help. Which sucks, but, like I said, it's just like, it's an era where you had to be there. It's just one of those things where it sucks, but maybe I could at least recover some of it. Because I know I'm pretty sure I've at least, like, recovered some of it, just on the virtue of, like, being good streams and shit, too, from back then. So I know I got at least some stuff that I could recover. I mean, I just don't know what's what, I mean, I would have to kind of like, backtrack like what day was what, for certain things, especially if I'm out in the protests and shit. Like, I mean, that might be a little tricky to find out which days are what. I could probably narrow it down a little bit, but not that much. Just depends on what's saved. Definitely thinking, like, I know I definitely at least got some shit on there for sure. And it'll probably be before I got arrested, I think. Maybe a little after. Because I know, well, I don't know. I wonder if, like, honestly, just like a weird oddball chance I could probably see if the PC would start if I, like, maybe put in a different outlet or something like that. Because, like, if, I don't know. I just want to make me think about this. God damn it. Because it'd be really cool to, like, recover some of this shit if it's possible. Because if so, then might be able to show some pretty cool shit. Actually, before I load this up, gonna go to the bathroom quick. Here, then I'm back. Do not go nowhere. What the fuck? I'm not like some object you can use as a battery in, bro. Come on. Oh. Come on. God, dude. Silly little thing. Do you want to lay down little streams? Well, if I'm banned from my account on Twitch, then I can't access it. I'm a little DOA on that one. I know I did download some of them from the past. I just don't know exactly which ones. Really, dog? Just locked himself in the lunch room again. Feels better to be gone from the fucking cold and shit. So I have to like every fucking time, but Jesus Christ. We want this bullshit end of the bones, the pins. Will it ever go away? For it makes me suffer. It makes me suffer. You're not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't be too surprised if there are actually, weirdly enough, like some long-term like health complications that did come from like all that tear gas and bullshit that was like unleashed upon Portland during those protests. I know it did actually, especially for a lot of women that were out in those protests, did actually heavily impact them a lot. Like when it came to like their menstrual cycle, well, not menstrual cycle, but like their period cycles, shit like that. Like they straight up would like they have complications because of like their exposure to different tear gas agents and shit that were used. It's like what? It's like what the fuck? So what does that do for a dude like me? It's like going home. Because I know I was exposed to that shit a few times. So I brought my Soviet gas mask with me and shit. Because despite, it being more a little outdated and stuff, I mean, it worked like a charm. Worked pretty well. That thing has honestly been through a lot of type of shit. It's been for like, the protests, smoke weed out of it with a bong, making like a little gas mask bong. It's been for concerts with me, going to Sabaton, seeing him with and just wearing that fucking thing for the fucks of it. So I mean, I've taken that thing, to a lot of random ass little ventures. Used it for fun, but also have used it, for utilitarian reasons, and worked like a charm. That's what matters, at least. This dog is a little turd. Because eventually he's going to probably either want to claw his way out of that fucking little entrapment he's put himself in. Did it earlier. Is he going to want to do that, or he'll probably just sleep in there forever until I wake him up and try to get through? Because I know he's laying right up against that door. That dog is fucking absurd. And I'm shed, little boy. Oh, what are all things on the agendas for thoughts for the night? Because honestly, there's been something that's been like in the back of my mind that I can't really, it won't escape me. But it's been very amusing, to have play in my head for a while. And it's basically just like Elon Musk showing up on stage randomly, looking like a fucking 5-year-old who just went into the candy factory and has free reign on all the free samples, basically. Bruh. I don't know if anyone's seen the clip of him just showing up on stage, just being like, yeah, it's just jumping around like, like, oh my God. It is beyond absurd. Like, it will not escape my brain. And it's just like, bruh. This is the way he's jumping around like a fucking kid. Like, Trump, was about to introduce him. Well, he kind of was, but he was just like, yes, going off like a fucking goober. That Trump just like, take it over here. And just like, I wandered off, and he like came back and like onto the podium. It's like, dude, what the fuck was, dude, because not only was that his return to the exact same spot in like fucking Butler or whatever the fuck, where he almost got shot. Or I guess he did technically, but whatever. Like, but he brought that fucking goober over. It was one thing when, it was just like, oh, he's back. Okay, cool. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, I mean, but then he brought that motherfucker up. I was like, bruh. Oh my God. I just thought of another thing that I just now remembered. They were going to do a moment of silence, for that guy that died, or whatever. The firefighter dude. I don't know his name. Whatever. Like, they were going to have a moment of silence. They didn't have a moment of silence. What it ended up being was dead ass blasting out loudly Ave Maria, bro. Like the fucking Hitman version of it. It was like, Lord, Ave Maria. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And not only was it fucking straight up like blasting, there was a guy singing it. There was just a dude singing that shit, being just, it's like, what is going on? They had like a whole big bell chime too, like, boom, boom, it's like, what the fuck is happening at this rally? I don't know if anyone's seen that battle rally, but I had the misfortune to kind of watch a large chunk of that, and I was like, what the fuck is happening at this fucking place? There was some weird cult shit going on that day. Just straight up. It can't escape my head, dude. Mostly just Elon jumping around like a kid. Mostly that, because that is just... Oh my god, it just really shows how much of an immature little twit muffin fuckball that he really is. But oh my god. It just reminded me of everything else about that fucking rally, and holy shit, dude. Oh my god. We're just kind of cooked as a country, aren't we? We're just kind of cooked, aren't we? That's just what's happening. We're like, our nation's just cooked, as the Zoomies would say. And just like the Zoomies, would also say in this case, hey, fuck it, send it, I guess, right? Hey, but okay, I don't know how I feel about the so-called thing, because it keeps flopping around everywhere. There we go. Keeps slipping around. Hard to get a grip. Just goddamn. Need to get a goddamn grip on this bitch. Boo. Same for electoral process, because I mean, seriously. Not to kind of bring that back up a little bit, but holy shit. We certainly need to, as my mom would love to say, we need to get a grip. Because Jesus Christ, dude. Shit be a little, it'd be a little bunk. And I think we need to, seriously reevaluate about what the fuck's going on. Orange diaper poo ball man who's like, Jill, baby Jill, fuck electric vehicles. By the way, let me go to this guy over here. Yeah, and I'm like, yes, oh my god, it's me, just fucking going out there being like a weird child. And it's like, well, he loves his EVs, but, we won't tell him about that. We won't tell him about how we really feel. It's like, dude, bro. You got that fucking shit going on. And then on your side, it's just like, I don't even know what's happening with that. Like, hanging out with Liz Cheney and shit. Fucking, while it's getting prepped by goddamn fucking booty juice for that debate, whatever that was. Oh my god. Ugh. Our politics in this country are just so fucking broken, man. I think we need to do a total and complete shutdown of American politics until we figure out what's going on. We need to figure out what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Because what's happening right now is very terrible. Very, very terrible. Let me just tell you, it's the worst I've ever seen. We need to do is shut down, and big shutdown until we figure out what's going on. A little extra emphasis on the Trump sniff. Dude, he really does that type of shit. He also does this too. It's like he does that a lot too. Neocon brunch of Lissy. Oh, I can go martinis. Yep. Back to brunch. Now with the Cheneys. Got to keep up with the Cheneys. My God. Bruh. Oof. Oh, these man, bro. Are it makes me kind of honestly wonder, like, what it will kind of have to take, for people in this country to kind of just say fuck it and break away from this a little bit. Because, I mean, I don't want to feel like it would take accelerationism for that to be the case. Because I really don't want it to be. But it's just like, bruh. Does it have to really be that bad for people to just be like, nah, I ain't doing no more or some shit? Like, I mean, seriously, like, what the fuck? Have we just been, like, neutered to the point where we'll just, like, take eating, beating from, like, yes, mommy or yes, daddy to whoever the fuck is, like, smacking us down? It's like, what the fuck? Oof. Oof. I would say how Zukov feels about that, but he's kind of detached himself from everything. He's like, I'm just going to take a nap. Going to take a nap in here and just detach myself from this whole process. Thanks, Six. Definitely a great moral support over there being locked away where I can't even see you. Nice. Goofy little shit. A goofy little shit. Ugh. Damn, it's such a first time in a while. This stretcher feels fucking good. Ooh. Is this like a progression of time where I'm actually feeling better in the last course of like the 2 hours or something being here? Guess if so. Nice. Oh man, I do find it a little fucking wild that our bodies are so sensitive to the most randomest shit. So depending on like random bullshit circumstances like a cold or whatever, it's not like your lungs specifically, but like the shit that like keeps it like with the ribs a little bit, but like also separate from them, that bullshit would be like, we've rubbed around a little bit on the ribs and then we don't like each other no more. And you get it flamed a little. It's like, bruh, the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? It's like, bruh, how is this like, an unfortunate factor in my reality? You know what I mean? It's like, I get that, like, if the lungs themselves are sore and like, but no, it's not even those. It's not even those bad boys. They're fine. Diaphragm's fine. It's just literally everything else around it. It's like, bruh, how's that get fucked up? I mean, it's like, how in the, it's like, it makes me wonder. It's like, wrap my brain around this shit, you know what I mean? For all the positive traits Sukov has, he has one flaw. He can never be a fluffy loaf of a cat. He can attempt to loaf. There has been moments where he has kind of loafed up a little bit, but he's a dog. He can't really loaf. He can be a croissant, where it curls up in a little ball. You can do that. Oof. Took a little breath and nope, didn't feel good. Might stand corrected. This big little goof. The big little goof. I can tell there's being a big goof in there, just sleeping like a big fluff, a little croissant loaf, but it's kind of hard for me to appreciate it when I can't see the damn floof. Boo. Bullshit, I tell you what. Nice. But anyway, I think we're gonna get myself a little bit of food and all that good shit. And rest up, stuff like that, cause let's get ridiculous. What's it even called again? Like Pelosery or whatever the fuck. It's named after whatever the fucking membrane bullshit is in there. Hate it. Ridiculous. But hopefully, I'll get a little better, by next morning. At least way better than this. So, but anyway, gotta get some foo-foo. Feeling the munchies, because nice and healthily stoned, and munchies sound pretty good. So, but it's on.